Welcome back to InsiderNet. Fear, it's universal, primal, and the beating heart of survival horror games. Across decades, developers have crafted experiences that make us grip our controllers tightly, hold our breath, and sometimes even look away from the screen. But what makes a survival horror game truly terrifying? Its atmosphere. Today, we'll dive into the best survival horror games that have mastered the art of dread, tension, and immersion. Dead Space Remake. The 2023 Dead Space remake took everything terrifying about the original and elevated it. The USG Ishimura is more than a setting, it's a living nightmare. The sound design captures every groan of the ship and every inhuman scream, keeping you constantly on edge. The remake introduces dynamic lighting and environmental storytelling that make the ship feel claustrophobic and haunted. And let's not forget the necromorphs, creatures that don't just kill but mutilate. Dead Space isn't just horror, it's a masterpiece in tension. Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 blends psychological horror with survival elements, creating a Lynchian nightmare where reality and fiction collide. Remedy Entertainment's impeccable use of lighting and shadows amplifies the fear of the unknown. The Dark Place, Alan's twisted prison, plays with your perceptions, making even safe areas feel dangerous. And the story? A labyrinth of mystery and dread that gets under your skin and lingers. Alien Isolation. Few games capture the essence of their source material as perfectly as Alien Isolation. The game's atmosphere thrives on tension. Every hiss of the xenomorph, every creak of the Sevastopol station makes you feel hunted. Its AI-driven alien is a relentless force, adapting to your strategies and keeping you on edge. The 1970s retrofuturistic design immerses you completely in Ridley Scott's universe, and the game's pacing ensures you're never truly safe. Amnesia: The Bunker. Amnesia: The Bunker reinvents the franchise by introducing semi-open world gameplay and resource management. The oppressive atmosphere of the World War I bunker is amplified by the omnipresent threat of the Beast. The limited light sources and constant need to scavenge create a suffocating sense of vulnerability. It's a game that doesn't just scare you, it makes you feel hunted. Little Nightmares. Little Nightmares may not have jump scares, but its atmosphere is deeply unsettling. The Maw is a grotesque dreamscape where everything feels just slightly wrong. The oversized, monstrous inhabitants and the eerie soundtrack create a sense of powerlessness. It's a horror game told through the eyes of a child, and its art direction perfectly captures that blend of wonder and terror. The Outlast Trials. The Outlast Trials takes the series' signature gore and psychological horror into the multiplayer realm. Set in a Cold War-era experiment, the game immerses you in a grotesque world of paranoia. The cooperative gameplay doesn't dilute the horror, it enhances it. You're not just surviving, you're questioning who you can trust, both in the game and among your friends. Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia turned ghost hunting into a chilling multiplayer experience. The procedural nature of the ghosts means no two investigations feel the same. The game's sound design, echoing footsteps, disembodied voices, builds a palpable tension. Whether you're braving the unknown alone or screaming with friends, Phasmophobia thrives on the fear of the unseen. Resident Evil 2 Remake. The Resident Evil 2 Remake is survival horror perfection. The RPD building is a labyrinth of dread, with every dark corridor hiding new threats. Capcom's RE engine brings the undead to life in grotesque detail, while the sound of Mr. X's boots echoing in the distance creates an unmatched tension. This is how remakes should be done, respecting the original while making it terrifyingly fresh. Until Dawn. Until Dawn feels like playing a slasher movie. Its branching narrative and focus on player choice amplify the tension. The isolated mountain lodge is the perfect setting for the game's mix of supernatural and psychological horror. As you piece together the story, the weight of your decisions and their consequences keeps you on edge. The Evil Within 2. The Evil Within 2 expanded on the original's psychological horror with a semi-open world approach. The town of Union is a fractured, surreal nightmare where reality bends and twists. The game's varied environments and grotesque enemy designs create a constant sense of unease. It's a horror game that's as much about survival as it is about confronting inner demons. Silent Hill 2 Remake. Silent Hill 2 is often hailed as the pinnacle of psychological horror, and the remake is set to bring its haunting atmosphere to modern audiences. The fog-drenched streets, haunting soundscapes, and deeply personal narrative create an experience that isn't just scary, it's profoundly emotional. Pyramid Head remains an iconic figure of terror, embodying guilt and punishment in one horrifying form. The Blackout Club. The Blackout Club combines supernatural horror with a uniquely suburban setting. The game's cooperative focus and narrative-driven gameplay create a tense atmosphere where every decision matters. The eerie presence of The Shape, an invisible enemy, ensures that you're always looking over your shoulder. Resident Evil 4 Remake. Resident Evil 4 Remake takes the action horror classic and makes it darker and more terrifying. The redesigned environments are dripping with atmosphere, and the Ganados feel more aggressive and unsettling. Capcom strikes a perfect balance between action and horror, making this an unforgettable experience. The Mortuary Assistant. The Mortuary Assistant turns the mundane into the macabre. The game's intimate setting and unpredictable hauntings create a constant sense of dread. As you perform your duties, the line between reality and the supernatural blurs. It's a slow burn, but the payoff is worth every moment of tension. The Last of Us Part 1. The Last of Us Part 1 is a masterclass in atmospheric storytelling. Its post-apocalyptic world is hauntingly beautiful, filled with decayed cities overtaken by nature. The game's sound design, from the eerie clicks of the infected to the ambient noises of desolation, immerses you in its world. But it's the human element, the connection between Joel and Ellie, that truly drives the tension. Every encounter, whether with infected or hostile survivors, feels like a life-or-death struggle. It's a game that stays with you long after the credits roll. These games remind us why we love to be scared. They transport us to places we'd never want to visit in real life, but can't get enough of in our nightmares. What are your favorite survival horror games? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into gaming's best and most terrifying experiences. Until next time, stay safe and stay scared.